So based on my perspective, um, a man needs to be self-aware, and he could have all the money in the world, and you see the wealthiest women with very rich men who are very unhappy. Um, it's it's a combination of a lot of things. See, I'm driven. I want a man to be equally driven. You don't have to do what I do. You just have to have a purpose, right? Like this is what I want to achieve. I want to grow. I want to be something. Respect. Um, respect for who I am in terms of my time, in terms of checking in and asking, "Hey, how are you?" You know.
Mm.
Um, and I think that lacks a great deal. Like, let me just give you an example. Like after I got my divorce, I dated.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was to compare the breed of men after my ex-husband, I would go back to my ex-husband any day, and he was bad. So that explains that was an actual relationship, although it was toxic.
So the grass wasn't greener on the other side? Is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry?
So the grass wasn't greener on the other side?
No, no.
So
Had
your
I not
ex-husband was
gotten a
better?
divorce, I wouldn't have known how bad it was.
Okay.
I wouldn't have known what ghosting was. I wouldn't have known how disconnected men are, how
Mm.
detached they are.
Detached from what?
How like why you gotta be detached? If we go on a date and you don't feel it, why can't you just tell me?
Mm-hmm.
Like I would appreciate that more than me feeling like I don't want to be clingy. I don't want to like feel like I'm desperate, which I'm not. But I want some. If I connected with you and I feel like there could be something here, why can't you just reach out and be like, this isn't going to work out? You know,
Mm.
Well,
I
I mean,
think that's
doesn't the
yeah,
absence of any emotion or absence of any statement indicate that there was no connection? Like, do you have to reach out and say, "Hey, by the way, there's no connection"?
yeah. It doesn't take a lot to send out a text and be like, I really didn't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't see a future with you.
That's after one
Because
date.
after one date,
Okay.
but they'll lead you on. Like they'll view your stories on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
They'll make you think that they're into you. They'll heart your pictures or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they're never gonna ask you out. Like I went out
Yeah, but
with
that's the ultimate test, though, isn't it? Like, if they don't ask you out, then they obviously don't have the interest, right?
Then they're not. Yeah.
let me put it this way. I went on
Okay.
a date with a
Like, they're just
doctor.
creeping your Instagram stories at this point.
They're basically creeping the Instagram stories, but
Okay.
to us in this generation, that sends out a message. It's a mixed signal of
Yeah,
like,
but
okay,
there's
so
also hundreds or probably thousands of other guys checking out your Instagram stories, right?
but I went out with him yesterday.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
kind of the point I'm trying to bring. So if you're not interested, then just tell me.
Tell me the story of the doctor.
The doctor. We connected. He asked me a lot of questions in terms of what you would ask a woman if you wanted if you wanted to spend the rest of your life with them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, how many kids do you want? How would you raise them? Just things like that. What we were looking for in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Um, things seemed really good, and then he just never reached out to me. But he's still viewing my stuff. I reached out to him about a month later saying like, "Hey, we should just go grab dinner when you're free." And in the meantime, you're still viewing my stuff. What did I do? I just blocked him because you're sending a mixed signal to the woman of like, if you don't want us, don't make us think that you do, so that we can move on.
So
Because to me,
viewing social media stories indicates to
yeah,
women that we want you.
yeah. If
Hang on,
we're,
Caroline's shaking her head the other way. What does that mean?
that's what I
That's,
think.
and so is
No,
Casey.
listen. Social media is evil in so many ways, and people. It is a sign. If you throw up a bikini post, the people that heart it want to sleep with you. If the boys, like that is not like, that's not like rocket science.
Okay.
But I'm not thinking that every guy that looks at my story or likes my story wants to take me out on a date. The guy who takes initiative and asks me out on a date clearly wants to take me on a date. But she's very right about the ghosting thing. Guys do that a lot. It doesn't take much. of simple consideration to be like, hey, I'm not into it. Basically, they're being
Is it guys
wuss.
that only
Why is
ghost,
it
or do
such a
women
big deal?
ghost too?
To ghost people?
Yeah, like why is it? And you know, to
Why is
Muff's
it,
point,
why
like
is
why
it
is it
such a
such a
huge
big
deal?
deal?
Like,
Like if
why
you
do
go
you
out on
need
one
this
date,
closure from this guy who you're never going to see again? Like, I don't understand.
Respect. It's out of respect for the other person.
okay,
Like, you're
but
never
women
going to
don't
see
offer
me
that to
again.
men either, though, right? Like it's
In what way is it about
like it's a
respect?
card
Like,
out of the playbook that women play, where they just ghost guys if they're not interested.
I
I
let them
don't do
know.
that.
Jasmine,
I
how
don't-
many unread DMs do all the ladies on this panel have right now on Instagram? Let's talk about respect, about guys
I'll
that
show
are
you
hitting
right
people
now.
up. Have you ever received an unsolicited DM from a guy that was trying to shoot a shot?
We as women, if we see a message coming through and it sounds very creepy, I won't even open the
That's not what
message.
I'm at, but what I'm saying. But if it's about respect and acknowledging another person who's showing interest in you, why wouldn't you respond back and give them that respect back?
No, if there's a stranger, that's not what we're talking about. We're saying if you go on a date with someone, if you start chatting it up with someone and you're flirting with someone, and then you go on a date with someone and they're not feeling it, or 1 date, 2 dates, 3 dates, and they're just like, oh, I'm not feeling it, the chemistry isn't there, you should absolutely, as a considerate human being and a man, be like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm just not feeling it, and I really wish you the best. It's
Why
truly
is
not
that
that.
important?
Is it nice? Yeah, sure. It's nice out of respect. Just, hey, not feeling it. Okay, yeah, that's nice. But am I gonna go cry in the corner if
No.
if he doesn't say no, I barely know you. So I don't treat it as like, oh, like why aren't guys like saying this? Because like, do I do it every time? Do I say no? There's not a connection every time? No, I don't. If I truly didn't like hated the guy on a date, no, I'm probably just gonna let it die out. So I mean, yes, it is.
I think it's.
Yeah.
Too,
I mean, you ladies can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that women want to. They want to hear from the guys that they're already attracted to. They don't want to hear from the guys that they're not attracted to. If you go out on a date or you connect with somebody and you want to see them again, you're obviously attracted to them. You want to hear from them. If you don't hear from them, you want to get closure as to why you didn't hear from them. Is that correct?
Like, why did you make me think you were into me when you were not? Because
can
you
tell
just
you it's a thousand
maybe the
reasons.
date didn't go as well as you
You know,
thought.
you
Maybe that's
showed
what-
up.
No.
You were taller than I thought you were. You were shorter than I thought you were. You were heavier than I thought you were. You
Heavier
were
than I
older than I
thought.
thought you were. You were
Let me
talked
put it
more than
whatever.
I thought you would. You
They
didn't put
sweet
out-
You
talk
talk too
you.
much. You talk too little.
Yeah.
Let,
You know.
let me give you my feedback, which I believe the rest of the ladies would agree with me. They make you think they're into you,
Mhm.
so you believe it. You see the good in them, but they're really not. They just couldn't get out of you what they wanted, so they're gonna ghost you. But as women want
Okay,
to
so
be
What do you
like,
mean?
what did they
Hold on, let's
want
back
though
up.
that they
Yeah,
didn't
what do they
get?
want from you?
some men will, they're really, really good actors. Most men, they will put up a very good act just to sleep with you.
Okay.
Correct.
And
So-
Let me back up. Hold on.
they
Let me
see
let's
that
bring
you're
Are
this
they
back.
woman of
ghosting you
value.
after you
I wanna-
slept together?
I will. Yeah, well, that's different.
So that's why we as women on a date, we get like, we start to like the person
Mhm.
because of this act they put on, but they have a different agenda.
It's
Like,
not an
why?
act.
I've also only dealt with ghosting at the end of my like serious relationships, which is a whole nother level of disrespect. So I'm not even talking about ghosting after a few dates. I'm talking about ghosting when a man can't handle the emotional load that comes with the end of a relationship and they just stop talking to you.
Okay.
That is
Let's go to the end of
awful.
the relationship of an
Hold on.
actual relationship. We're talking about dating right now.
Quick.
So,
Yeah.
are they
Okay,
ghosting you
Go
after
ahead.
you sleep with them?
sorry, I want Moff to get he really wants to
No,
say something.
no, go ahead, Jasmine.
Yeah.
I don't sleep with them,
Okay.
so I get ghosted automatically.
Okay. So they're
It's
looking to
true.
sleep with you.
Yeah.
They don't get what they want, so they ghost you.
They talk about kids. They talk about like the future. So
Okay.
they make you believe that there is a future, but there is no future, which is like, don't. I mean, if you just want to have fun, that's great, but let me know that.
Yeah.
I think that's
Why?
it's-
Why? So you can reject him, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah, that's why guys don't do it. That's the whole point.
That's
Here's the deal.
manipulative though.
Here's the deal. No, it
That's
isn't.
awful.
How about this? How about wearing makeup? Is that manipulative?
Is that okay? So
Is
We're women.
wearing
Wear
heels
makeup.
manipulative? Does that
Men-
manipulate your height?
men
Is
fall
wearing
in
a
love.
bra manipulative? Does that manipulate your
Men-
breast size?
Men
I'm
fall
sorry?
in love. Men fall in love with what they see, and women fall in love with what they hear. That's why women wear makeup and men lie. If we're just honest about it, that's the way that it is. Now, I'm going to tell you, ladies here, and I want everybody to hear this, and you may not like this, you might not believe it, but this is absolutely true. A guy does not know, and this is biological, this isn't a conscious thing. A guy doesn't know if he actually likes you until after he slept with you. Because everything leading up to that moment is him trying to sleep with you.
But a woman,
Only after you guys have slept together does the other part, all of this other stuff about your nurturing aspect and your caring and this emotional intelligence and all that, only until after the sex has happened does a guy care about that at all. Up until then,
I
doesn't care.
completely agree with that, though, because chemistry is one of the most important things in a relationship. So I completely agree with you.
Sure. So,
Look,
but I don't understand
gonna
what this. It's like a leading on. It's not an act. It's actually true. He's being driven by his biological male impulse, which is to spread seed. So it's not an act. It's not fake. A lot of guys don't know this, but in that moment, this guy he probably thinks he's being honest and he's being truthful because what's driving these mechanisms are his instinct to sleep with you. It's not his instinct to be, playing house with you. It's his instincts to sleep with you. So up until that point, he doesn't have any idea if he likes you or not. It's up to you after the fact to make that guy like you.
look, just speaking for myself, I can't speak for all women, just speaking for myself, I will develop feelings for a man if I sleep with them. So I'm very, very cautious to do so. I personally will get emotionally connected to a man where if I sleep with someone and I start to really like him and he does not, that's going to affect me. So it's almost like a defense mechanism in a way of like, I got to get to know you. Like, I got to get to know who you are at least for a month before
But the problem with that is,
go
ahead, Case.
It's fine to vocalize that. Like if he's like making efforts and it's just like, and you say, "Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not there yet." That's fine. That's your choice. And if he doesn't want to continue seeing you unless you put out on the first date or second date or whatever is before you're too comfortable, then okay, it doesn't work out. Like that's
the rub. That's the issue because a man with options is not going to wait a month, and whether you like it or not, and you sleep with a guy and you develop feelings, it is not like I understand because women lose their power, right? Women have power if they haven't slept with a guy yet. Women control access to sex, men control access to relationships. So it's up to you to now keep that guy around. It becomes the burden becomes on you. Because a man has now gotten what he wants from you. Mm-hmm. If a man has slept with you, then there's really the only way you keep him around is if all of the other value that you add and that you bring stick around. A lot of guys will sleep with them, but they're annoying and they don't add value and they're not nurturing and they just are a pain in the ass. And a lot of guys will leave. Like what I've been listening to for the last hour now is a lot of men are this, men are not self-aware, men are not they're socially inept, they don't have high emotional intelligence, but not once have I heard any sort of willingness to look in the mirror and say, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe it's with me, or maybe I have a hand in the reason that I can't get a guy to stick around.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.